All right, Trees and Breeze, I'm back. This is a special one. I never left Pico, I never left California and did a podcast. This is the first podcast on the road, and what other place to do it in Denver at the new Dab Nation? It's crazy. And who else to have? Gotta have Izzy Blaze. Welcome, Izzy.
Thank you so much.
So this is the Sesh podcast. Thank you guys for coming. We haven't been shooting for a while. After COVID, we restructured the whole Sesh thing, and we said to ourselves, when we come back to the Sesh, we're gonna come back hard. So yeah. I think coming back in a new state with a new store and with an amazing person, I think this is dope.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
And I'm saying amazing not just for the camera, literally from the last 3 minutes we had a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, this person's great.
There's no way. Thank you. thank you.
This person is great. No,
Facts.
seriously.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me some time.
Welcome, Izzy. How are you doing?
Oh, man, God is good. Too blessed to be stressed. I'm having a good day. The weather's nice.
Yes, that's
just spending time outside.
Yes, that's that.
There's nothing like it out here.
That is great to hear.
Yeah.
How's your week? How's your weekend been? I don't want to get into the facts. I want to ask you how you been doing.
It's been great. I mean, we have like an event called Crush Walls down here, so it's just like an art event. I've been going all day. A lot of my friends are artists, and so I've just been enjoying my weekend, getting out, and just supporting local. So being able to ride a scooter from there to here throughout the day, easy.
Yeah, this is my first time in Denver. I've never been to Denver, and for us to have a store that was able to scooter back and forth from Crush Wall, and I think it's Latimer is the street?
Larimer.
Larimer. So I've been saying that wrong on my vlogs.
Oh, you're fine.
So Larimer, sorry, but yeah, I've been scootering back and forth, and it's really cool. Like, the vibe here in Denver is something that I think I've experienced maybe once or twice, like Wynwood. I would give this, but I'm not gonna lie, I feel so much safer here. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, it's nice. I think it's also the area. It's growing. It's getting a lot better. So yeah, I mean, it's a good place to be.
Yeah,
this is a great location.
City. So are you a native of Denver, Colorado, or where did you originate from?
I was born in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
I grew up here for a little bit. We moved back to Texas, and then as soon as I graduated college, I moved back out here. So I've been out here for about 5 years.
And nice. That's not And what drew you back to Colorado? And let me ask that. What did drive you back to Colorado after you moved?
Well, I was in a relationship, and they wanted to come back and be closer to their family. And we came to visit for 2 weeks, or a week or so. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, let's go. So we moved out here. I didn't even really smoke as much when I moved out here.
Really?
I just got, I was on an app called Mass Roots, and I just started meeting a bunch of people. I started getting a good following on that. And then I did the Izzy Blaze show just randomly, and it just took off, and then I just kind of get in it.
I didn't even get there that quick, but how did you start the Izzy Blaze show?
I was just helping Mass Roots with content creation every now and then, small little tutorials, just fun stuff. They were my friends, so I was going and doing stuff with them all the time. And they're like, hey, we have an opportunity to create a show that you could take over. We'll call it. So we started calling it Motivated Mondays, and we were like, no, it needs to be called the Izzy Blaze Show.
Okay.
So then we did a couple of videos, and then we did the Backwood tutorial, and the Backwood tutorial went viral.
Wow.
And so even when YouTube was deleting all these content creators, we stopped filming, so it kept our videos on there, so it just stayed.
The Backwood tutorial went viral?
Yeah.
Was it the tutorial on
how to roll a backwood?
Yeah, how to roll a backwood. And it's funny, this is great, because I literally just was going to ask you, hey, let's do the session now, what time? And you were having a conversation about rolling.
Yeah.
So I would say people hold you to a high regard with rolling.
Yeah, they would call me the Backwood Queen.
That's a dope title to have.
It's cool. I mean, it's just fun to roll, you know what I mean? And it's also cool because a lot of the times people would be like, oh, you want me to help you roll that? And I'm like, no, I actually don't need any help.
Yeah.
And I've taught more guys than girls how to roll backwards, because most girls that I know already knew how to roll them.
Right.
So it's just really cool to go up and not be able obviously I know how to roll Dutch Masters, swishers, everybody knows how to roll raps.
Yep.
But to roll a backward when you first see it can be a little intimidating. So sometimes people roll them way too small, and they're like, oh, I don't like them because it's too much tobacco. So you just got to roll it fat,
Yeah, 100%. I think that was the biggest problem with me when I first started smoking backwards, because I came up on Dutches, especially vanilla Dutch. I used to split them in half and smoke my maybe in my teen years, just smoked so many half Dutches. So when the bigger blunts became the cooler thing, I'm like, I don't really want to waste all my weed at one time. But when I started to I guess got a little older, maybe 17, 18, and started rolling bigger rolling bigger Dutches, and then the backwood era came, maybe my 20s, 2021, and then I started to see word, you just gotta put mad weed in this fucking backwood, and that's the only way it's really gonna work out.
Yeah, I always say at least 2.5 to 3 grams. Some people can't put a whole eighth, you know, and obviously I think that's the big problem with backwoods is sometimes it can be seen as a bad thing and a waste because people can't do it, you know what I mean? So I always say, hey, if you need to cut it down, whatever, it can be realistic for everybody. I always say get your friends to pitch in. you know, but it has to be at least like 3 grams, because if there's a lot of overlay on the tobacco, you're just hitting tobacco pretty
100%.
much. So you might as well just smoke it out of the package.
I got an interesting question. How do you feel like backwoods versus like Fronto?
So I absolutely love Fronto. I smoke those more than I smoke backwoods. I also, there's just a beautiful thing.
God bless your chest.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, so when I buy it, you can buy leaf from like, there's like a Connecticut cut, so it's like a lighter leaf.
Yeah.
It still has a good taste, but it's not as robust as these darker leaves that you're getting.
Yeah, okay.
And you can go and you can get them wet and like pat dry them or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, what most people get is just the regular same Fronto leaf, the grabba leaf, everything like that.
Right.
But if you go and you genuinely buy tobacco leaves, you can choose the shade, the cut, like everything.
Wow.
So there are ways to mitigate that, but yeah, overall, if the Frontos that you get, they pack a punch. They make me super dizzy sometimes.
Oh, like that's the biggest thing for me with the Fronto. Is like I love the taste of a good cigar. I love a taste, but for the amount I smoke, it becomes
it sucks the soul out of me.
Oh
Good Lord.
Oh my God.
Makes you change your ways for a second. You're like, hold on.
You really got to rethink what you're doing there.
Yeah.
You got to rethink to yourself, like, wait, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that by 7 p.m. tonight, because my head is going to feel like, all right. But
having to question it, you already knew the answer to that. You're like, nope, this is it.
Yep. You said something about CBD blends, and how are you with like herbal blends? And something new that I just found out, that you can smoke like mint leaves and roses and things like that.
I personally don't like it.
Yeah,
no.
I haven't tried it. I just found out.
I just don't like the flavor of like how the herbs taste once they're burned.
Yeah.
So I'll just put CBD and something in it, but I won't do anything like that. That's not usually my style.
Cool.
It's all right if somebody wants to roll it, but I won't personally roll it myself.
And before the camera started rolling, we had like quick conversation, and like you literally, and I swear it's literally every podcast I've shot thus far, I've always had this like 2 to 3 minute time period where me and the guest just talk. You know what I mean? It's usually how you like measuring how this conversation is gonna go, right? And I purposely don't talk a lot, and I let that person talk, whoever the guest is, and just to see where their mind state. And the things that came out your mouth were like great. Like in my mind, it was like community activist, like community humanitarian, like listen, like a person that really is like not selfish and wants to give back.
Yeah,
so
I want to.
What is giving back to Izzy Blaze?
So for those who don't know, I'm coming after Ellen DeGeneres' bag, so I'm gonna go do her job better.
Nice.
And that's my goal, is I want to be able to like genuinely be doing that. What is giving back? Giving back is just saying, hey, this is the trials and tribulations that you went through. You can use that as a tool rather than a weapon to hurt you, and it can help you move on. Like, setbacks help us be better. I think that, I mean, I got kicked out of school for
just
like,
gonna
drugs,
ask you what certain
things.
trials and tribulation that put you in this mindset, because it's usually a thing happens or something puts you in a state of realization to say, hey, I have to change, or I got to look at it different.
I think like I've always gone against the grain. I've always been unconventional. I don't really care about getting in trouble. Like I've never been scared of things like that.
Right.
So I always chose to do things differently, and I started realizing like how different my life began when I cut my hair off, when I started getting tattoos, when I got kicked out of school, and I got arrested. Like all of these things. Like, do I regret it? No. I mean, those nights were fun. Obviously, if we got caught, something happened. But overall, I realized that those things didn't define me, and we live in a world that tells us because you're bad, it needs to be punished,
100%.
or because you're good, you can be good. But they don't teach you that it's like you can work through that to be better, just because it doesn't feel good. And so what I want people to know is like, dude, everybody was against me. People say that people with tattoos don't have success, and people with short hair that aren't feminine enough. Like, I'm here to like debunk all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And so what I am is like proof in the pudding that it doesn't matter what you go through, you can still be in a power position as long as you put yourself through that. And like,
that's fine.
You can't teach people. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. So I know my value. So everywhere that I go, I've never had an issue with the way that I look, because people are like, oh, she knows what the fuck she's saying.
As you should.
You know? And so I just want people to have the confidence to do that too.
Yes. And that's really dope, man. Because a lot, I would like to say that I have a lot of those same thought processes. Like I think like that. I like those things, and like I like that you are spreading that knowledge, because a lot of people in my journey, I see like, oh, certain things that I would not let define me, they get stuck in those, and it's not always just the past. It's maybe some emotions.
It's hard. I mean, things are triggered. We have trauma that our body just holds it and holds it and holds it. So we start to believe that we are that person who got arrested. We are that person who didn't graduate. We're more than that. And like we lose sight of that all the time.
Right. And
you know?
I think it's tough it's tough when you don't experience anything else, because when usually in these situations you're in a multiple of, it's a plural situation, like it's a lot of people going through this, and it's like, hey, we're all going through it, so it starts to be normalized, and it's like once you step out of that box or whatever that surrounding is, it's easier to see. It's like you really have clarity on, that there's a different option. You know what I mean? There's a different makeup you can put on. So
I always say, I had the best ideas when I was broke. Because think about it, when you don't have any money, you're so in those moments, what I think is if you didn't go through that, how are you going to get any better? You know what I mean? So it's we just have to check in and be like, yeah, dude, it fucking happened. So what? Okay, so now what? I
have a real theory on that, why you don't think the same when you have a certain, you acquired something versus when you don't have anything to make anything happen, is because when you don't have anything, everything is an imagination. Everything is
a dream.
And if I was, when you already have it, it's you're looking at variables. It's all right, what can I do? Or what your mind state, it just becomes different. And that's what I always try to humble myself, because I'm honestly, my life is not at a point that I want it to be at. You know what I mean? So I always look at it okay, I have to humble myself to put myself in a better situation. Because being complacent can happen at any point.
Anytime.
You can like something more than usual and be like, I'm here. I'll stay
Every day we have a choice. People just think that they don't.
Yeah.
That's why I was telling my friend Rube the other day, I said, you have gotten so used to surviving that the moment that you started to thrive, you appreciated it, because you didn't know anything better. But when people are handed to you, all you know is that good. So when you have to struggle a little bit, you're like, oh, that doesn't make you that doesn't make you any better. You have to struggle a little bit. I think everybody needs to struggle a little bit.
Straight up, I agree with that so much. Just because without the struggle, you'll put yourself in a position where you don't know how to deal with adversity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't, you put yourself in a position, it's everything is always good. And it's never things could be good, but you might have to just deal with some bullshit just so it can be good. And I feel some people miss that and will give up at step 1 and will never see step 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can't even see it really ever be a really thing. Some because they're just dreamers and they only will dream, and some because they're too technical in their situation. So I think a good balance of both, being technical and precise, execution, but we still have the innovation of a person that doesn't have, because you can make these things up. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, I totally think that, and I think that's and for me, where I realize that we lose a lot of our individuality is in school, right? So they teach you how to be a member of society, the right or wrong, the black or white. So then once you start to make those decisions and go against the grain a little bit, they're okay, you're starting to question things, this one's going to be different. And that's why it's the people who go against the grain who make things happen. And some people are just scared.
I'm not going to keep us here too long, and I wanted to really end on this. Where does Izzy Blaze see herself? Where does Izzy Blaze see success, and how do you want to get it? How do you want to achieve it?
Yeah. So I'm a Capricorn, so success is a huge thing for me. Recently, I decided to apply to a really rigorous life coaching program, and I got accepted. I'm one of 50 people in the program. And so I'm going to do that. I have a podcast coming out, and then I have merch coming out with stickers. And basically the whole consensus is I'm going to give into the idea of capitalism and sell you something tangible. But in selling you something tangible, it's something further than that. So the wording, everything that is made, the way it's saged, everything is for you to know that I'm not here to change you. I'm just here to remind you that you have the option to facilitate that change. And I'm going to help you facilitate that change because of what I've done.
Right.
And I know that it works because I'm right here and the proof is in the pudding.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I just want people to know that they have the option to continue to go and do something different, because I think that we're all a little stuck. But we don't have to be. And I'm no different than anybody else. I just had the balls to get up and try.
100%.
Once you try, you're already fighting half the battle that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, y'all need to go follow Izzy Blaze if you're not right now, because the encouragement is something that people take lightly. Being a positive source to your peers and to the people on the internet is so vital right now, because we're in a time that people really don't know what to believe, can't find peace in themselves. So they need somebody just to remind them. And I know your friends probably say this to you. You're probably a great person to be around, because that's just I'm not chewing my own horn, but I get those same type of vibes. Yeah. Just because when you spew these positive energies, people want to be able to be around you, and not only be around you, want to know how to do it, and want to be a part of that. So that's so dope, especially when you're humble about it.
Yeah.
And you're saying like, yo, I want to push that to you.
Well, that's the thing too, is I think that we like are given this like over perceived thing of like positivity and optimism. Like I don't give into that bullshit. Like if you go on my live, some days I'll tell you, be like, oh, like you're telling me that you're staying in a relationship because of this. And I was like, so you're actively choosing something that's not for you, for other people. I was like, so when do you choose yourself? Right? So what I like, my thing is like, just fucking make the option. Like, are you going to bitch about the day or make the day your bitch? That's my thing that I always say.
Right.
You have two options. So you get to choose every morning. You know, are you going to be mad at bacon or are you going to be happy at the person who made the bacon?
Right. That's so like true. I think it's a great outlook.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sitting me down.
Yo, thank you for taking some time to talk to me. I was going to go home and walk my dog for an hour.
No, I think it's still definitely something you should do. Work.
I'm definitely going to. Yeah.
No, I know.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Izzy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, boo.
The Sesh Podcast. We're in Denver. We just opened up the store. We're at our grand opening right now. We is live today. I mean, we doing interview after interview. We talking it up. We spewing good vibes. Art in the world everywhere. You want to shout out your Instagram handles and how do you?
You can just find me on the Izzy Blaze Show on YouTube or Izzy_Blaze 2 E's on Instagram.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you always tuning in. This is the Sesh Podcast. You already know. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. It's Trees and Breeze, Izzy Blaze, Sesh Podcast, Denver, and we out.
Thank you.
You dig.